And welcome. You are with the Skeinz Diaries. I'm Maree. It is episode 198 on a very sodden Monday, October 3rd. I hope everything is well at your place. I say sodden because it's still raining here. It's been raining since Friday lunchtime. Yes, which is good. The good news is that lots of rain means lots of knitting. And for all of my friends over on the East Coast, southern East coasts of America, and I know there are quite a few of you that join us during the diaries, I hope that you have been staying safe, dry and warm and out of the clutches of Hurricane Ian, which I know has been creating lots of havoc over there as well. And yes, opening of so many spring events here this past weekend, and they were all rather sodden, rather sodden. But the good news is that I've been able to do lots of knitting, tons and tons of knitting over the weekend. So I've got stuff to show you. So we're gonna have a look at that. We're going to have a look at what else we're going to have a look at. We're going to have a look at a new pattern release from Stephen West. And we're going to have a look at actually a combination that was left sitting on my desk this morning. And Claire was like, oh, I just saw these in the shop and I just had to show them to you. So we can have a look at all of those too. First up, I haven't quite got round to changing over the theme in the speakeasy yet. That is my next job on the list. I will give you a heads up now, though. It is going to be called Surprise. So yes, that's what it's going to be, Surprise. So that is the theme for the speakeasy for October. And I will get a tile up and a winner drawn, and I'll get onto that once I'm done here. I know it's been one of those days, and I've just realised I knocked my thing. Oh god, I'm all a bit lopsided this morning. Fun and games. Progress knitting. As I said, I did a lot of knitting over the weekend. So I'm knitting Fox Bay, of course, from Erica Knight. And this is it here, and this is why. So I've got the books at home, and what I do is I photocopy the pattern out of the book. So this is my book, photocopy of the pattern from the book I own. And the reason I do this is I take notes on things. And I could take notes in the book, and some people like to do that. I don't like to do that, only because, of course, I may change how I knit it, or things alter. So this is where I'm at this moment. And you may look at that and go, well, Maree, you showed us that last week. No, this is the other side. So I have completely finished one front half. So that is the design there. It is a sort of grandpa style cardigan with a twist, because as well as having this V-neck in the front, it also has a V-neck in the back. So I even actually pressed these pieces to make them easier to show you. I'm going to just sit back a little bit to make them easier to show you. So where are we? Here we are. So here is my back there. And before you go, oh my gosh, Maree, that is huge. Yes, it is huge. I have made it with enough positive ease to sink a battleship. And in fact, I might have made it with so much positive ease. I'll be brutally honest with you. I think I've made it too big. But you know what? It's designed to be a cardigan that can be worn quite large. And what this means, just after the pressing, is that I'm not going to panic too terribly about blocking it. I'll probably just press it looking at that. So that is the back. Mind you, by the time I seam everything, you lose a little bit of real estate with the seaming. So there's our back. And here is the front. First half of the front. Ta-da! All done. And as you can see, it's got this sort of nice little gentle V there, and you'll see pins, and you'll say, why are those pins there, Maree? Well, the pins are there because those are going to be where my buttonholes go. So the way she does the instructions is she gives you the starting point and the end point to where to place your buttons, and then has you place the other two buttons evenly between those two, which I've gone and done. Let me just put this down so you can see that. Which I've gone and done. So there's the top, there's the bottom, there's the top. I've placed these two evenly in between. And what I've gone and done with that is I have then counted the rows between those. So what I've gone and done is I have the starting point, and I've made sure that I have exactly the same number of rows in between each buttonhole. And the reason for that is so when I'm going to knit up the other side, to place those buttonholes, she gives you the instruction for the first one. And as you can see, there's the first one there. I then know how many rows until I get to the next one, and so forth. So I can count those off. Now, because I'm also counting off my modifications as well, so I'm doing sort of two things at the same time, but with different stitch counts, and starting from different places, because where I started the buttonhole counting from and the tapering from are two different places. What I do, and this is again why I put these things out, and this will give you a really good idea. See, as you can see, there's my pattern, and you can see at the top there. Now, I didn't bother doing this for the other side because I didn't really need to, because I was only counting off one thing and I could just easily count up. But because I'm doing two things, which is creating a buttonhole and also doing a taper, I find literally writing out every single row like that and then creating a code at whatever it is. So the circle denotes a buttonhole, the arrow denotes a decrease. So then literally I just go across and count them off, and when I get to that row, right, I'm decreasing here. When I get to that one, oh, I'm buttonholing there. So then I don't have to panic. I don't have to get distracted. I don't have to worry about going back and trying to count and have I got that count right, and it's just all done at the same time, the same place. So that is how I tend to do it. And you can even see, like, I make little notes to myself. And I write all of these things over here so I know where I'm going. I can definitely say now that I'm this far through it and I have pressed those pieces, there is oodles and oodles of positive ease in this pattern. And it will be intriguing to see how it goes. It is a drop-shouldered cardigan, so I'm not terribly phased because it's designed to be quite a big cardie. I'm picking now, I probably didn't need to do the tapering. Like when I say the tapering, the sort of A-line to give me the extra room. Now, I say all of this, and by the time there is an overlap, by the time I put the overlap on with the front and the back and then do my seams up the side, which means that I'll lose a bit of real estate there, it may actually be bang on. But, when you've got that much positive ease to play with, it really, an extra sort of inch or two here and there is not really going to make a tremendous amount of difference. So I'm motoring along with this, and I'm loving it after, really enjoying going so quickly through it. So, and I'm so in love with this color, really in love with this color. The yarn is Diva, the color is Diva, and the yarn is Vintage Born DK. And this is where, coming into work this morning, these were sitting on my desk. Claire had put them there on Friday because she saw them. She's like, oh gosh, I've got to put them there to show Maree because they're just so perfect. And what she had sitting on my desk were these, which is Jelly Donut. We still have some of that left in the Merino full ply. And this is Spellbound and Whisper Fine. And as you can see, peas and carrots, they are a match made in heaven. And I just was like, oh my gosh, you're right. They are gorgeous. This camera doesn't do them justice, to be fair. If you wanted to do Fox Bay and you wanted to give it the double-stranded mohair treatment, you so totally could do that. In fact, it would look amazing with the double-stranded mohair. And if you've got some Jelly Donut already, or you wanted to grab some Jelly Donut, Spellbound and Whisper Fine and Jelly Donut will give you that beautiful, luscious berry colour. And I mean, look at that. It's pretty darn good, right? Then we got some remnant balls in. And these, there's a couple of colours. They're alpaca remnants. They're absolutely beautiful. 80% alpaca. Look at that. Stop it. So that's just come in. I'm going to photograph. It's this and its little green friend, which I should have grabbed actually for what I was going to talk about next, which I'll get up today. So pretty, and these will be going out $5.95 a ball because the remnant balls are amazing. They are just divine. So again, if you wanted to do that in Fox Bay and you love these colours, these would be absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. So it was sort of, I had to take when I was getting set up, I had to take a photo of those because they just all looked so perfect together, like just this absolute happy marriage of orchidy, bougainvillea, fuchsia goodness. It was so lovely, really lovely. So I'm looking. So we've got the rest of the week here. The weather is absolutely hideous for the rest of the week, cold and wet and just. So I can see myself doing a lot more knitting between now and then, which is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. Margaret's asking, love the cardigan I'm wearing. What's the pattern? Yes, this is my favourite from Georgie Nicholson. And I've done, actually, this is the one that I've knitted that actually I didn't modify. Shocker. I didn't modify a pattern. This one I didn't modify. I wrote as written. I've knitted a few of these, 3 of these, but in one I've taken out this lace portion and just knitted it plain. And another one I did as I knitted it actually on a full play yarn, a fine weight yarn, and made alterations. So it's and I actually haven't hardly worn it this winter, and I just threw it out. Saw it sitting on the top of the wardrobe, and I thought, oh, actually I'll wear that today. I haven't worn it in ages. So it's nice. It's a good one. I honestly thought that I was done for the woolies for the year. I've actually bought a number of my winter items back to the shop to go back in for samples, and it's and hello, here we are. I actually thought, oh, good grief, can't believe I'm having to dig things back out again. But that's spring for you, isn't it? So this is what this is. The other thing that also October, no, so I have gotten around, I will get around to changing out the theme for the speakeasy and letting you know that winner. But of course, the other thing that happens every October is Outlaw October. We love Outlaw October. And if you want to know more about Outlaw October, you need to go to the Outlaw Ravelry group, and they've got all the information there, and that is where all the chat and the discussion is. And it's also got the categories, and they've changed things up a little bit this year, and I love the categories. So the categories this year are anything by West Knits, which I think they had last year as well. So anything by West Knits, which means that if you are doing the MCAL, which I think starts, the first clue drops day after tomorrow, our time. If you're doing the MCAL and you're using Outlaw yarns, you will automatically qualify for Outlaw October. Boom. And I'm going to talk about a new pattern as well, and it's in a moment. There's also anything from the Brooklyn Tweed catalogue. Well, I know many of you knitted along with us. So Shoji, for example, that I knitted for Knit August Nights, Shoji will qualify. So if you fancy doing yourself a Shoji, and Bandit DK would be fabulous for Shoji, that will qualify. I know some of you even took on Geiger. Wow. There is a number of designs that you could do. So anything from the Brooklyn Tweed catalogue, anything from West Knits, and the new designer this year is anything from Olga Jazzy, which is Olga Buran Khalifian. And she is also has done some designs for Brooklyn Tweed. So she has done what they call the captured collection, but she's also done a number of designs on her own. I've talked about her Aranami, which is the sort of waves shawl, which I have knit 3 times. I love. And you know what? If you are somebody, Kathy Hunt, I know definitely could do this because she has got little bits of Outlaw yarns left over. But if you're somebody that's got lots of little bits of Outlaw yarn left from other projects, that Aranami shawl is the perfect shawl for using up crazy little bits and pieces, because you're just knitting little waves and just literally knitting little interlocking triangles. They look like little waves, and you can actually stack them. You could play around with color. You can do something. Kathy just said, yes, I definitely could do that. And the open category. Thank you, Kathy. I knew I would forget one. There is an open category as well, which I think is a free for all. And anything as long as it's knitted in one of the Outlaw yarns, which of course are Bohemia Light, any of the bandits. So you've got Sock Bandit, you've got Little Bandit, you've got Baby Bandit, and you've got Bandit DK. Any of those, if you have purchased any of the Rebel or Destiny yarns from Outlaw directly, Nyx. What am I missing? I'm sure I'm missing somebody. I must be missing one. But Gothic. How can I miss Gothic? So there's so many that you can choose from. So Ethan and I will talk about Outlaw October on Thursday. He's here on Thursday. But I thought I would show you a new pattern that dropped. We'll talk about this more on Thursday, but a new pattern that dropped from Stephen West. I think it was Friday. And as soon as I saw it, I was just like, you're far too clever for your own good, Mr. West. So I'm just going to get this up on the screen. I should have actually prepared this earlier, but this is me. And as soon as I saw this, I was like, oh, you clever. Oh, listen, there we go. Kathy was also saying if you've still got Vanitas, it qualifies. Queen Bee, if you've still got Queen Bee, and actually any of the Lissy Cole yarns, the super chunky yarns, they qualify as well. So this is the new design from Stephen West. This is called the Basket Weaver Shawl. And we all know the basket weave stitch is probably one of those classic stitches that has been around for forever. I mean, we've all had a crack at it at one time or another. We have all played around with knits and purls to create a woven look. Well, but we've got to realize that this is Stephen. So Stephen always takes things one step further. And this is what he has gone and done with the shawl. And why I'm excited about this is because this says to me he generally will test out a concept or a structure or a pattern design in a shawl first. And he will sort of ease you into it and get you quite excited. And then he will do a raft of designs as a variation on that theme. And I cannot wait to see what he does from this. This, for me, is probably the most genius appearance of the basket weave stitch I have ever seen. It is freaking incredible. It is so. I mean, look, I haven't bought the pattern yet, but I can just see what he's gone and what he's done. And actually, I'll pull this up to full screen so you can see properly. What he has done is he's gone and taken the theme that we know and love of using knits and purls, but he's obviously in here, and I have enlarged this on my screen before I came, and I thought, you clever clogs. What he has gone and done is he has also gone and created a very clever use of an increase and decrease. I'm almost certain of this. Now, I could be completely wrong. If you've bought the pattern, but looking at it, that is what he's gone and done. And whatever he's done, but it looks like that's what he's gone and done, is a clever increase-decrease situation at these corners. And by doing that, he has created the absolute visual illusion, the complete visual illusion of strips of fabric woven together in like a basket. And to me, that's genius. It's utterly genius. And it looks, the fabric looks gorgeous. Of course, he's got his signature I-cord bind-offs. There you go. And I just think it's absolutely stunning. And the beautiful thing about him doing this in a shawl like this, and he's got that sort of start there, is that this is something that you can work, radiate out. But if he does do what he does with a lot of his other designs and extend this beyond just a shawl design, and I really do hope he does. Can't you just see how this will translate out into a yoked sweater? I think it will be amazing. So there it is there. I am very excited about this. I'm going to, by Thursday, I'm going to make sure I purchase this. So I've got it to talk about further with Ethan. What I love about it is using a DK yarn, Yeehaw. I love me a DK shawl. So it uses a DK yarn, 4.5 millimeter needle. Um, and one of the things that stood out for me with this straight away was in terms of the color. I'll put this back up here again. There we go. Was the color. I just thought it was so pretty. Sorry, there we go. Right. I thought that was super, super, super pretty because that color is just really gorgeous. And as soon as I saw that, I just straight away, this is what I thought of straight away. Because that particular yarn had a few little subtleties. And this is Taylor from Sockmatician Edition. And that basket weave with a little bit of glow, amazing if you wanted that colour. Absolutely beautiful. The second yarn I instantly thought of was our new roving. I've been looking for something for roving to go into and a design that I think would really show it off and be a really beautiful option. And I think that shawl and this roving will be amazing. That was option number 2. But then if you love those beautiful jadey teals, a couple of other options is the Mahana, which is just the deeper one at the top. And then, of course, Alpine and Vintage DK. So there's so many beautiful, glorious options. If you are somebody who has you'd need in Bohemia 4 balls. I checked with Ethan actually before I came on because of the meterage I think he has on this is 800 and 800. He's got listed here 841. Now, I know that he often overestimates the meterage, and a lot of people end up with stuff left over. And to be fair, I'm totally cool with that because you're better off with more than less, right? Yeah, 841. So I checked with Ethan because I thought, well, could you burgle this with 4 balls of Bohemia? Because it would just be incredible. And he said, yes, definitely. He checked with the pattern lab at Westnuts and he said, yes, you can definitely do that. So if you've got 4 balls of Bohemia that you're looking to do, I think was it Glass House and Imperial were the 2 that were in those beautiful jade shades, would look so amazing in the shawl. So if you've got 4 balls of Gothic and you're looking for something to do with it, Kathy's just saying it is a series of SSKs and knit 2 together, with increase and decrease. So it's absolutely freaking genius. So those will, I think, be perfect. So if you are looking for some cast-ons and you're still sort of in the MCAL doesn't really, the mystery knit along doesn't really float your boat, I think this basket weaver shawl is actually another option that could be quite a bit of fun that you could do. Also, too, Fox Bay. If you've been watching me do this Fox Bay over the last little bit and you think, gosh, she's knocking that out quick. And I am. Like, I've only really been at it a couple of weeks. Why don't you cast a Fox Bay on in Bohemia or Bandit? I think will be amazing, or Rebel. Rebel would look good with this. But either of those, if you want to be part of the Outlaw October fun, you can actually do that in those yarns. And we still do have some Bohemia left in really beautiful, vibrant, happy shades. So do pick some of those up. I know we've got Charming, we've got Old Beau, we've got Radiance, and I think we've got a little bit of Bewitched left as well. So do make sure you snap those up if you're wanting to take part in Outlaw October. What else is happening? I've got the Night and Day. I forgot to grab the sample one to show you. The Night and Day knit needle sets from Knit Pro are up. We do have a free skein gift with purchase with that of a Nightfall yarn, and a few of those have gone out. So if you want to take advantage of that, do make sure you purchase that really quickly in case you miss out. We'd hate for you to miss out. So we have got those there. And Claire and I are cooking up a few other little bits and pieces for October. So we want to keep you knitting. And if the weather is going to be doing what the weather is going to be doing, both here and in the Northern Hemisphere, I think it's time to get the needles out and keep calm and knit on. So I hope you're all well. I will be back here on Thursday with Ethan, but until then, have a great day and I'll talk to you again soon. Take care.